This is a Curad spray bandage. It's a 1-ounce container, and I cut it with a hacksaw right there. That's what it looks like inside. Don't forget to sand it. Sand all the edges smooth, all those rough edges, and sand the paint off. Now I'm going to pull this apart, and I don't know if you can see, I'm going to cut away some of this inner metal and keep this lip. And I'll just use a knife. I'll use maybe this. There you go. And it's going to fit in like that. I got to find a piece of aluminum that'll fit inside this inner lip. It'll lock together, and that'll be a double wall. I'll slam it together, kind of like the Bud bottle or the white box stoves, and I'll drill my holes. I'm going to use this for the inner wall. It's just part of a Dr. Pepper aluminum can. And I just kept cutting it and cutting it until it was probably about the right size. And this didn't cut out very well. Looking back on it, I probably would have used some type of a bit or had more patience when cutting it. You probably can't tell, but, or maybe you can. It's kind of jagged. So I'm trying to round that out. I am working it a bit, pushing like the knife through it and rolling it, and it's creating a nice pocket for the inner wall to sit in. That's what it's going to fit in like that. That's going to hold the aluminum, I hope. So I'm going to work it a bit more, make it a little nicer, finish sanding it. That's the top, that's the inner wall. It's got to finish sanding it, and maybe cut it a little bit, snip it, do whatever I got to do to get it to fit. You know, it's definitely going to be up a bit though, because of that bump on the inside of the bottom. But it's a guess as to where it's going to want to be. And you want it to fit tight and nice. So after I sand it and play around with it, we'll fit it together. And just sanding, you know, sanding this a lot like that. Sanding it, you know, nice, this. You know, as well as this. Get it in there, round it out. Next, mark the holes about where you think they should be. You don't want to do them too high and block it when you pound it together, so I want them really close though. Don't know why, I just do. So just measure it up, and then you dot it where you want to start, and then come up with a method for evenness or whatever you need to do. So there's the pieces. I drilled this out, kind of just eyed it up as to what I wanted, and now I'm going to put it together and put little drain holes in here, just little tiny nicks, so that when it's at the bottom, the fuel can drain into the other chamber. And then I'll put it all together and put a block on it and hammer it down nice and even, and we'll see what's what.
And now we'll test the burn here. The most this stove will take is 3/4 of an ounce. It'll burn for about 12 minutes on that. And it'll boil 2 cups of water in about 7 minutes, maybe 7.5 minutes. If you wanted it to prime faster, you could put a little alcohol around it and then light it. This is good enough. Obviously you'd want a smaller pot. The pot I'm using is about, I don't know, 7 inches in diameter, 8 inches in diameter. So it's kind of hard to balance on such a small stove.